All right, good evening. Nice camera action. All right, 2021 F1 Chrome half case. From a new case. None of that open case crap we had last week. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to open up the case and take the top 6 boxes left and right. I think the last case we opened up, I did all of one side and it was smoking hot, and the other side was not. So here's the top of the case, tape-wise, anybody's interested. And there's the bottom. Yes, sir, Ron. 10 American dollars will get you for Horner. So, that said, 1, 2, 3 from the left, and 3 from the right. So hopefully, it's not quite as bipolar as the last case. All right, thanks, Ron. Let me get the list updated too, just for good measure. All right. So without further ado, here we go. I have a bunch of Sapphire. Apparently, Topps, instead of doing it the Montgomery, through the website, dropped it all off at distributors. So I have a bunch of Sapphire. I'll probably do 6 box breaks of that. Starting this week, hopefully, if I get time to type up the listing. So that'll break up the monotony of just Chrome. Last year, GTS barely had any Sapphire. Now this year, it's 6 boxes a week I can get. Alright, one last washing of the hands. Alright, here we go. Again, everything does ship. Thank you again, and good luck. That's a bodice in the car. Mr. Ocon on the throwback. And purple out of $3.99 with a little extra present from the factory. $265 out of $3.99 for Esteban. Sammy, congrats. Porsche, Sato on the car. And Lewis, driver of the day, Great Britain on the refractor. You know what I would love for them to do would be give me a full case of Sapphire on. That'd be a dream. Alright. There's Max. Boss Chung on the car. And Checo podium. I'm going to go ahead and say that Pierre Gasly is not a fan. Resta, Egginton. Ooh, Christmas time. Alonso, 61. And a red-green, Sebastian Vettel. Melissa, congrats on a nice sub. I want to say these are out of 37-ish, allegedly. Next up, Latifi. And Carlos Sainz. Podium. And Albon, Vettel, and Carlos Sainz, 61. Danny Ricciardo, Mazepin Sato refractor in a car, and checkered flag. Congrats on that, Tyson. Then we got Lewis, Danny Ricciardo, and a Yuki Freshest upside down. Everybody's upside down. Charles Leclerc, redliner. Even the sleeve is backwards. And pack number 9 out of box 1. Kimi. And Lando Norris, 61. Get an auto at least. Starting it off. All right. Second half of box 1. Lewis, Lando, David Beckman, and Capito on the refractor. The sleeves are always going to be backwards. And ticked him on the redliner. Liam Lawson, car. And dropping a Verstappen, 61. Zindelli on the refractor, and he's on a purple checkered flag out of 199 for Sebastian Vettel. Okay, here we go. 8 out of 199 for Seb. Again, congrats, Melissa. Vettel starting off halfway respectable. Alright, then we got Toto on the Mercedes Group Hug, Grosjean. Leclerc on the refractor. And a purple for Mick Schumacher. Portrait. $195 out of $399 for Mick. Emery, congrats on that. Vettel, podium, or Vettel, Verstappen. In a few years since Vettel was in a Red Bull. Lewis in the car. And Nick Latifi, 61. And last before the auto, Lewis, Max, Leclerc, and Bottas on the refractor. All right, autograph. George, for sure. Bottas, Redliners, and he is on Lyrium Zendelli, base auto. And that is how we get started. And the house goes crazy. All right, well, outside of Seb, that was a pretty lethargic start. All right. Well, now that I'm going to get rich off of Zendelli, here we go. Box number 2. Bottas, podium, and Fernando Alonso. Gold checker out of 50. Still treating you well, Mark. 33 out of 50. Congrats on that. All right, next up, Piastri, Carr, Checo, Fernando, and Giovinazzi, 61. Danny Ricciardo, Sonoda, freshest refractor, and Nikita Mazepin, checkered flag. Nikita, Drew, congrats there. Moving on. Sergio, Nick Portrait, Gasly, and Alonso Redliner. Verstappen, another granola bar George, Nannini, and Danny Ricciardo on throwback. Lewis, Yuki, and Christian Lundgaard on the refractor. Zoe, and Marcus Armstrong on the redliner. Fernando Alonso and Piastri, 61. Gasly and Resta get us halfway through box 2. Getting all the stinkers out of the way here. So do we think F1's going to leave Monaco in the near future? There sure is always a lot of chirping about that right after the race. I just can't see that happening. Well, I mean, I could. Money does talk, but I think they'd live to regret that. Hey, TJ. I mean, the race stinks. There's no question, but I would think you could fix that if you really wanted to. All right, second half of 2. There's a Vettel holding a trophy. And Russell. $61. Next pack. Teo. Vettel. Refractor. And Lewis. One in Tuscany. Purple out of 199. Purple checkered, I should say. $170 out of 199. There for Lewis. Teasing you again, Mark. Hopefully there's more than that. Yeah, I mean, I know how they don't like it now, but I don't know. Seems like they're having a dink measuring contest right now between the both of them. Organizers in the F1. Mick, Gasly, and Leclerc. Russell, Gasly, 61, and a gold purple. Such a tease. Bent Viscal. See the gold color, and then it turns out it is purple. All right, Bent, Joss. Congrats on that. Then we got Lewis, Vasseur, Gasly, Bottas, Evening, Darubala, Vettel, podium, and Oscar Piastri, portrait. 141 out of 399. Jason, congrats on that. Nothing on Robert to this point. I don't even think there's been a base. Lewis, Checo, and Sergio again, 61. Marcus Armstrong on the car, Max, and Lando. And last pack out of box 2. Ends on a Lewis Hamilton redliner. Yeah, in all fairness, these first 2 boxes have been not good. So, we'll see. Not good, I guess, unless you're a Vettel or Alonso fan. Yeah, to me it's hard to see F1 leaving Monaco. It's like that place in Silverstone are, in my opinion, like the F1. I guess when I think F1, it's those 2 places. But alright. It's not like they have a shortage of marina race, street races. Box number 3. Schumacher on the freshest. Signs in a car, and Felipe Drugovich, 61. Christian Lundgaard upside down, and Petikoff on a refractor. All right, looks maybe some real gold coming up. The skull. Lewis on the podium. And a gold out of 50, Marcus Armstrong. $33 out of 50 for Marcus. Tyson, congrats on that. All right, Lewis portrait, Vettel, and Samaya on the orange red. Yay me. All right, next pack. Robert Schwartzman, Verstappen, and Kimi Räikkönen. And Max. James Allison on a refractor with a Leclerc checkered flag. Charles, Lenny, congrats. Checo, Steiner, and Mick Schumacher, redliner. And then we have Bottas, excuse me, and Yuki Tsunoda to get us halfway through box 3. Another auto. All right, here we go. Second half of 3. Petikoff, Giovinazzi, Gasly, and Kimi Räikkönen on the portrait refractor. And Lewis, Samaya, and Robert Schwartzman, you're on the board. On the red liner. Yeah, I got a huge last year and this year I got all sorts of no name and F2 guys. Lewis, Portugal, Giovinazzi, Sainz, and Lewis 61. Vips, Checo, and Gasly on the refractor. Think he's at AlphaTauri next year? I would figure after the Checo he might split. Lewis, Ocon on the podium, and Robert Schwartzman. Purple out of 399. $213 out of 399. There you go, June. All right, Nannini, Sato, Toast, and Vettel on the portrait refractor. You might want to not do that this time, Mark. Maybe just staring at it, because the last couple walks have not treated you well. Lando, Podium, and not really sure what he's got going on there. Out of 399, purple. $3.99 is what Robert was. 181 out of 399 here for Lando. And Adams on the board. Then we got Daruvula. Wash. Fernando and Stroll, 61. Lando in the car, and a Samaya refractor will get us to our autograph pack. All right, here we go. Leclerc, Vettel, and it's going to be a base auto for David Beckman. Wonder how he snuck in a black marker. $374 out of 397 for David. Hey, congrats on that, Tyson. That'll get us through box 3 and the halfway point. I can't remember how I stacked these up, but I think that was 3 from one side of the case. So now we'll do 3 from the other side. See if the pattern stays the same. I think we're going to get a colored insert here. All right, number 4. And Gold Wave. Danny Ricciardo. And Podium for Carlos Sainz on a Gold Wave. Out of 50. I think that's my only colored insert, or second colored insert I've had. 25 out of 50 for Carlos. Congrats there, Tim. And nobody wants to see Zendelli anyway, so it's set him down. I think Lewis was the other one on a red liner. Alright, next up, Max, Lewis, and Felipe Drugovich on the checkered flag. Michael, congrats there. Yeah, I remember last year I wasn't all too upset when nobody took the F2s, at least when Chrome first came out. I couldn't sell F2 drivers to save my life. But I figured that's where the investment money was at. Russell, Nannini, and Schumacher Redliner. Zoe hanging upside down, Leclerc and a Checo. Tail, Mick, Yuki, and Pierre Gasly. All sorts of cars there. Russell, Boss Chung, and Sergio. Styria driver of the day. Alonso, Carlos Sainz podium, and a gold checkered for Jody Egginton. $24 out of $50 for Jody. Congrats on that, Henry. Oops, forgot this. I guess at this point I'd have to say Max for the champion again this year. Zoe, Piastri, and a gold purple to Ruvula. Only because Ferrari's, Max had all the DNFs. And Ferrari's messing things up and letting them stay ahead. Congrats on that, Melissa. And I had really thought by now Mercedes would figure out a way to not have their cars be basketballs, but it appears that I was wrong in that regard. So, it's kind of really a Leclerc Verstappen two-horse race. And Ruvula, Checo, Ocon, and Vettel on a refractor. I'd like to see Leclerc win it, for a rooting interest, but they got to clean their strategy and stuff up a little bit, in my opinion. The other storyline I'm wondering is how long before Lewis has to play second fiddle to George. Starting to wonder if it's going to be this year. Yeah, I'd like to see Perez win it too, but I don't think there's any chance that Red Bull makes Max the number 2 under any case. All right, Lewis, Marcus Armstrong, and Charles Leclerc podium. And Signs, Dragovic, and Nicholas Latifi, purple out of 399. $83 out of 399 for Latifi. And congrats there, Justin. Next up, Zendelli upside down and Nanini on a refractor. Schumacher, Alonso upside down. Why are some of these stuck together? Static. And Vettel Redliners. I'm thinking Danny Ricciardo is going to be out at brain fart here. Speaking of Gasly and Verstappen. It'll come to me eventually. Gasly and Monchol on the refractor. McLaren, there we go. Get there eventually. Liam Lawson and another Schwartzman. Giovinazzi. Another quiet box. Yeah, as I was going to say, I don't think he's going to be around at McLaren after this year. Piastri on the car. Checo. And Signs on the refractor to get us through box 4. Just doesn't ever seem to click for them guys last couple years. This break needs a nice big bump of something. Anybody at this point. Which box? They've all been kind of this way. You get one decent card, but not enough to cover the box. Even close. All right. A little bit more positive vibes on number 5. Russell, Dragovic, and Lewis. Win in Tuscany on the refractor. That was the last case they got a super out of. Teo Redliner. Now, if I could get a super auto, I would call it a night. Vettel and Vips. Zendelli and a gold checkered for Lance Stroll. 16 out of 50 for Lance. And congrats on that, Frank. Bottas, Ocon, and Stroll. Fire off on the next pack. For sure, Mazepin hanging upside down with Binotto, and a Max Redliner. Schwartzman and Lando. On the podium. Russell, Yuki, Mazepin. Sergio, Mazepin hanging upside down, Marcus Armstrong on the refractor, and Nannini on the checkered flag. All right, Mateo. Oh, saved another one for the house. Then pack number 9 out of box 5 is a Max, Latifi, Ocon, and Carlos Sainz Redliner. These are starting to feel like light boxes. All right, last half of number 5. Where's the good stuff? Verstappen, Ricardo, Leclerc, and Bottas out of 399. $29 out of 399 for Valtteri. That's there, Tomas. Next up, Christian Lundgaard, Mazepin, Yuki, Portrait Rookie, and Esteban Ocon on the refractor. Then Lewis, Ricardo, Petikoff, and Ocon. Kimi, Leclerc, Boss Chung, and Daniel Ricciardo, purple green. Justin, congrats there. Moving on to Letta. Mancho Bottas, and he is on a legit orange for Richard Verschoor. Richard is out of 25. 15 out of 25 for Richard. Congrats on that, Joss. Excuse me. Yeah, nagging cough. I just can't shake. Like this focus on this camera. All right, next up, Louis Dragovich, Tictum, and Mazepin on the freshest refractor. Skull and Gasly on the podium. Stroll, Lasani, Checo, and Schwartzman, 61. And the last out of 5 is a Vettel, Lando portrait, Carlos Sainz, and Fernando Alonso on the refractor. All right, box number 6. Okay, here we go. Last box. Christian Lundgaard, Viscal, and Vettel. Started off. Lewis portrait. Vettel, Gasly, and Viscal on the refractor. Petikoff, Giovinazzi, and Valtteri Bottas podium. Lewis James Key, Lewis 61, and Verstappen gold purple. Win in Great Britain. Max. Joss, congrats on that. And we got Samaya, Giovinazzi, Jody Egginton, and Verstappen purple out of 399. 183 out of 399 for Max. Again, congrats on that, Joss. Max, Leclerc, and Vettel. Chilling on a podium. Checo, Steiner, and Yuki, 61. Bottas. James Key on the refractor, and Deletta on the checkered flag. Gave me again. All the no-namers hitting here tonight. Next up, Lando. Nannini, Yuki, Redliner, and Otmar Zofnauer. Purple checkers out of 199. You guys are tipping me a lot for an awful break. 64 out of 199. And last, pack number 9 here. Lewis, Sato, Alonso, and Lance Stroll. To get us halfway through box 6. All right, we're going to get an auto. All right, here we go. The final of number 6. Lewis. And Aletta, Redliners. Vips. Checo, Portrait. Leclerc, and Kimi Räikkönen. Lewis in the car, Schwartzman, and Verstappen on the refractor. Vettel, Daruvula, Wash, and Daruvula again on the refractor. Lando, Yuki, and Lewis on the podium. Schumacher, 61. Zendelli on the car, and Sergio on the refractor. All right, final pack with an auto. Can you imagine if it, well, it looks like it's going to be green. So can you imagine if it was a super on the bottom of this? But going to be green out of 99 when we get there. Max Gasly, Daniel Ricciardo, and to end the break, Bent Viscal. I can hear you all slamming your fists on the table. Except for Joss. He rolled with Bent tonight. 15 out of 99. That's 2 half cases back in a row that have really been a kick in the nuts. All right, well, next Sunday will be the other half of this case. And if this case, the other half of this case is just as awful as this half was, I'll be done doing half cases of Chrome. Because last half case and this half case, yeah. I'd rather buy 2020 Chrome and go that way with it. Alright, recap. Again, I appreciate all the bits. Sorry it didn't end up being better than what it was. But yeah, here we go. Recap. Deletta. Per share. Schwartzman. And ticked them here if you couldn't tell by the hair. And the last red liner. Purple's out of 399, not standing up. Vettel and Zofnauer. The next half I'll post on eBay Tuesday night. I do usually do a 5-day auction, so it should post on Tuesday night for next week, roughly this time. And we'll do that later. Checkered flags. Deletta. Nannini, Dragovic, Leclerc, Mazepin, and Sato. Awful lot of cars. Purple out of 399. Bottas on that one. Robert Schwartzman. Podiums. That's signs on that one. Another Carlos. All right, 61s. Right, that was the throwback stack. Next up, the regular refractors for those interested. Yeah, Lewis, Checo, Daruvula, There's a Max, Egginton, Pascal, Alonso, Mazepin, Ocon, Stroll, Lewis, Sainz, Monchot, Nannini, Vettel, Sergio, Lewis, Samaya, Seb, Gasly, Kimi, Petikoff, Lando, and Bottas, Vettel, Resta, Lundgaard, Yuki, Bottas, Leclerc, Zandelli, Capito, and Sato. Let's see here. Gold checkered out of 50 for Egginton. Solid gold for Marcus Armstrong, also out of 50. Gold purple for Max. Purple green, Ricardo. Gold purple, Deruvala. Orange red, Samaya. And gold purple, Viscal. Alright, then we got our showcase. Laying down here at Zandelli on the auto. Out of 388. Viscal out of 99. Then Richard Verschuur out of 25. Camera's over here. Stroll is a gold checkered out of 50. David Beckman on the auto out of 397. Lewis, purple checkered out of 199. Alonso, gold checkered out of 50. Podium gold wave for Carlos Sainz out of 50. And Christmas time for Vettel, red green. So, yeah. Well, I hope the other half of this case is going to be a hell of a lot warmer than this part. So, yeah, definitely an underdog break. That is for sure. But yeah, next week Sunday, 9:30 my time, roughly about the same start as this one. Approximately. It'll be the other half case of this. Like I said, I do have a bunch of Sapphire hanging around here. I'll try to get that listed too for next week. And yeah, have a good rest of your evening. Again, I appreciate all the bids. Good luck on your next break. Hope it's better than this one for you. And we'll see you later. Take care.